How to make a video game as a solo developer. First of all, it should be noted that this is not a tutorial, but rather a proof of concept and a description of the journey of publishing my mobile game. Where does this idea come from? There are several excellent examples of solo game developers. One example is Tyler, the creator behind Schedule 1. Schedule 1 is a game made in the Unity engine with simple 3D models. At the time of writing this, the game is still in its demo version and can be played on Steam. Schedule 1 became known because it is an exceptionally interesting game, and unlike popular AAA titles, which usually have massive teams behind them, this game has only one developer. Another example worth mentioning is Stardew Valley. This game was created by a single developer named Eric Barone. Stardew Valley is a well-known farming game that will soon celebrate its 10th anniversary. To make it, Eric took on the roles of designer, programmer, animator, composer, and writer. It's one of the best, if not the best, examples of a solo developer. There are many more games made by a single developer, but these two are the ones I know best. Some may notice that these are not mobile games though. True enough, Stardew Valley can be played on mobile now, but that option only became available after a few years after its initial release. I haven't researched many mobile games created by solo developers, but I believe most new mobile games that are filled with ads are usually made by one or two people. My recommendation is before you start making your game, do some market research. At the beginning, I tried defining how the game would look and what features it would have. Well, this is tricky because these decisions are directly tied to the technical implementation, which at first was unknown to me. The exact description of features and mechanics may therefore remain unclear for a little while. The visuals, however, were easier to decide on. Since I can't draw well, the game was never going to look good. Roughly speaking, the idea was this: a top-down, Zelda-like mobile game with simple controls optimized for a touchscreen device. Then comes the point of no return. Which game engine should you choose? The three most popular are Unity, GameMaker, and Godot. But with more research, you'll also find Coco's 2D, Default, Phaser, GDevelop, and others. Technically, it's even possible to make a game without an engine at all, but I didn't plan on doing any extreme sports. After many hours on forums and YouTube explanation videos, I decided on the Default game engine. Default is a cross-platform engine for 2D and 3D games. Nobody holds your hand with Default, so sometimes you have to figure things out on your own. I didn't realise that at first, and later I would question my choice in the engine, and also in life generally. Still, it turned out to be an excellent engine and one that I can recommend. The first step after choosing the engine was studying the documentation and watching tutorials on YouTube. Luckily, there were plenty of resources. Eventually, with the help of one of those tutorials, I managed to build a small prototype, a character that could move up, down, left, and right. At that moment, the end of the project felt close. I thought, what's more important than moving the character? Nothing. That must mean I've already made the hardest part. Turns out, I couldn't be more wrong. Now comes the controversial part of the project, vibe coding. Vibe coding isn't bad if, like me, you're not good at programming. With tools like large language models helped during coding, you can learn a lot. It's true that sometimes they hallucinate or give false information, but aside from that, they're pretty useful. You simply explain your goal, and ChatGPT can provide solutions and explanations. Over time, I discovered even more advanced tools like Cursor, Copilot, and Windsurf. These work like an integrated LLM within your project, one that sees all your files and doesn't need constant re-explanations. Copying and pasting generated code also becomes much simpler. While coding, I also had to draw models for the game. Technically, that wasn't a problem. With a graphics tablet and drawing software, I could create assets whenever needed. For example, when I needed a new character, I'd draw it at first, then code its functions. This meant spending countless hours staring at code, trying to figure out a way to implement the feature. Sometimes a feature was simply too ambitious and had to be scrapped or replaced with something simpler. Parallel to coding, another challenge appeared: game assets. Besides drawings and character models, the game needed sounds and music. This was a part I underestimated, thinking it would be easy. If you can compose music and record sound effects yourself, great. Well, I couldn't, so I had to find others' work. Luckily, there are websites like opengameart.org, itch.io, and Pixabay. OpenGameArt, for instance, offers free 2D and 3D models, sounds, and music. The only thing to watch out for is licensing. Some creators require attribution, others don't. Itch.io, on the other hand, is much more than an asset library. It's also a platform for indie games, comics, and books. For example, the music in Less Hope came from Pizza Doggies packs on itch.io. Finally, Pixabay offers royalty-free photos, illustrations, videos, music, sound effects, 3D models, and GIFs. From there, I used only sound effects, all royalty-free. The hardest part was simply deciding which sounds to use. Slowly, through coding, drawing, and experimentation, the game began to take shape. To give you a better idea, here are the main mechanics. It's a top-down Zelda-like game, meaning we view the character and world from above. A special trick with walls creates an illusion of perspective. The character can move freely around in relation to the world and walls. Across different levels, enemies appear with unique movement and attack patterns, so you must move carefully around them. To make things harder, the character only has 3 hearts of health. In other words, 3 mistakes are allowed, but sometimes less than 3. It all sounds simple, and in many ways it is, but tying everything together into a complete whole is the tricky part. Still, with enough persistence, the release date grows closer with every line of code. Which brings us to promotion, a part I haven't fully figured out yet. My first idea was to document the entire development process on YouTube. Many people have succeeded this way. The problem was that my process wasn't really presentable. I'd constantly switch tasks whenever I got bored, then circle back later. Filming and slicing that kind of workflow would just take too much time. The second idea was to post regularly on social media. That works well for people who enjoy to engage on platforms, but I just don't. I tried posting a few times on X, previously Twitter, but to gain visibility or get feedback, you need to post daily and consistently, and my account never got more than 11 followers. On the other hand, if the goal is to get feedback on the game, then Reddit is the best place. r/GameDevScreens, r/IndieGaming, and r/DestroyMyGame are perfect for gathering different opinions and constructive criticism. On my first post in r/GameDevScreens, I got 211 upvotes and 40 comments that helped me improve the game. Another great option is Discord, especially the official default Discord server. There's no better place for advice, feedback, or inspiration from others using the same game engine. Once the game's finished, it's time to publish it on Google Play and the App Store. Google Play is easier. You just pay a one-time fee of €15 and you can publish apps forever. The tricky part is that the app must be installed by 14 different people for 14 days straight to be published. Finding those 14 people can be difficult, but there are ways it can be done. In practice, publishing on Google Play takes about a month. Apple is a little more complicated. To publish on the App Store, you need an Apple ID, an iPhone to test the app, and a MacBook. You must also register for the Apple Developer Program, which costs €100 annually, not just a one-time fee. The submission process is less intuitive, but faster overall. And then that's it. The goal was to publish a game and make it available for everyone to try. By now, if you're listening to this, it means Less Hope has been published on both Google Play and the App Store. In conclusion, making a mobile game is not an easy task. It requires a lot of research and problem solving. The great thing is that a process of game development, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Some problems may seem overwhelming, but given enough attention, solutions often reveal themselves. No matter how unlikely that sounds. With every line of code, the game gets closer to completion. With modern tools and easier access to resources, finishing a project has never been more possible. Well, that's all I have to say, so thank you for listening.